good morning to you out there. Happy Tuesday. A Suck It Up Tuesday and a special edition of Catching Up with Tommy Mac via the 1010XL podcast platform. I'm at my house, back home, back in the saddle, man. Great to be here. Great to be alive. Hope you feel the same on this beautiful Tuesday morning. My show brought to you by Team Tommy Mac, the best team in business, that's for sure. They're always there when you need them. I'm a walking billboard today. I got my Carpet Man floor and LVP. Carpet Man's LVP and so much more, of course, for the people. You know, these hats, I love the hats, right? I get a lot of swag from Team Tommy Mac. The hats are tough. I mean, you know, they say one size fits all. Look at that. Last rung barely fits. I don't think one size fits all. And I'm all in my feels about it because us big fat heads, you know, us meatheads, we need some love too. So we'll get those extenders done. I think a little extender. I know they're out there. And we'll see what we can do. Make sure you go to TommyMac.net, please. And you'll see all of Team Tommy Mac there, their logos with their embedded websites. Just click on the logo. And also when I tag them all over social media, man, I love promoting these great businesses with more to come. All right, we got a lot to get into, okay? First of all, it's great to be home. Great to be home. We had a phenomenal trip up in Chicago. It was absolutely phenomenal. Our Harley May did fantastic. Finished top 10 in the national dance competition for West Coast Dance Explosion Company. She had to qualify for it. She had to audition, and she worked her tail off. I told her many times how proud of her I am, just for the mere fact that she set a goal. She wanted to be top 10. And she got it done. So congratulations to her. And we're very thankful for Nancy Dance Studios because it takes a village, and they are part of the village. Chicago's awesome. It is. I tell you what, the lake is rocking. I mean, it's absolutely rocking. My brother and I, we'd meet for coffee around 6:37, sit out there. People are running, they're jogging, the bike. Reminded me of the beach a lot, like that energy, that God's creation, you know, that just beautiful energy. And I got some pics. Go to Facebook. You'll see them. Oh, my gosh. Just absolutely incredible. I will say, Soldier Field, what in the hell did whoever came up with that design? I mean, it looks like the worst house addition you could ever imagine. I mean, you see them, you know, like, hey, it works for that family, whatnot. But you see aesthetically, like, you can tell that's an add-on or wow, I don't know if that looks really right. It's like they planted a spaceship just on top of Soldier Field. It looks absolutely ridiculous. I can't believe they approved those plans. I know they're talking about moving whatever, but regardless, having that big old stadium right in the city, that's what Jacksonville's looking forward to, man. We have our own now. Don't get me wrong, Alltel Stadium from the beginning, of course, and now back to Everbank. We love them. But our new stadium, our downtown, it's going to rock. Look, we did a river walk, and I'm going to get into Jack. I got a lot of football to get into. We did the river walk down there. It's loaded with shops and restaurants and bars and just little hangouts, pubs, whatever, pop-ups. It's loaded with people, and our downtown's going to get there one day. There's no doubt about that. All right, let's get into, like I said, we're going to talk a little defensive tackle. I saw a top 10 list. It's part of the time of summer. No Jags, but I think we will have one. We're going to look at the Jaguars linebacker room. Haven't done that yet. I've got my thoughts on that. Let's see. Travis Hunter, a lot of talk. You know, how much can he play both ways? Travis Kelce chimes in, the great tight end from the Kansas City Chiefs, saying, hey, man, if he plays corner, we're just going to run deep on him to wear him out and just run him down. And you got to think, like, that may be the thing. We'll talk about that. I've got my thoughts on how I would play him, but, you know, that's just me and my opinion. Look, you know, the big, you know, people get their up in arms about comments about Trevor. God forbid you critique the quarterback. He's full of critique and needs it. I'm looking forward to this year, so that goes without saying. I'm looking forward to seeing Trevor Lawrence this season, and I'm pulling for him. I want him to be successful. I want him to win. I want him to lead this team. But he has not led them yet, and he needs to. He did a little bit in 22, a little bit in 23, but that was then. This is now, and it's a what have you done for me lately kind of league, and right now he hasn't done much. So he's got to turn that around. A lot of you fans out there, I get it. You want to back him up. I get it. But you get so upset that anybody says anything negative. Your head's in the clouds, up his ass or up your own ass, because you're not looking at it from an unbiased perspective like I do. Listen, I don't care about other media. I mean, I don't mean this. I care about them as people. I do. They're great. I love our local media. But I'm not influenced by any of them. At all. I have my own opinions. I don't look to make friends with the team, with the players, with the coaches. If we do, great. But that's not what I care about. A lot of them do. They need those relationships in order to do their show, in order to do their job. I get it. Okay, you got to go interview. You want to be a part of the interview. You want players to like you. You want coaches to like you. You want that. Great. Fantastic. I just don't feel like I don't need that. I want to look at the team from an unbiased perspective as a former player of the organization too, and as just a fan, and what I see out there. So I don't care if someone else thinks differently of Trevor or anybody else for that matter. That just doesn't matter to me and doesn't impact my thought process whatsoever. If you've been watching me or listening to me for a while, and I've been in this market for a while, you know that I speak from the gut and speak from the heart, and that will absolutely continue. So, in finality on Trev, look, I want him to do well. He's got a lot of work to do, and he's got to show. He's got to show it. It's the show me state up in Missouri, right? Isn't that Missouri, the show me state? Well, he's got to do it right here in Jacksonville, and we hope he can. One of his targets is going to be Travis Hunter. A lot of talk about Travis Hunter as of late. How much can he play? How much can he play both ways? I know I'm in the minority here, or at least I think I am. I want to see him more on offense. I want to see him more on offense. I don't need to see him that much on defense. I really don't. I like our corners. I now, granted, Tyson's got to stay healthy, but I like Buster, and I like Ajarian Jones. I want to see Prince. At the end of the day, if you don't have a rush, I don't even care if Travis is playing. And by the way, he's not going to be a lockdown corner. He's going to play in his zone. That's his game. Well, I don't care how good he is athletically or how reactionary he is, and he may be unbelievable out of this world. But if you play zone and you don't have a rush, you're screwed no matter who's out there. I don't care who's playing. It could be Dion for all I care. If you're playing zone and not press, which that's more his game. So I know this. If I'm the Jags, I'm focusing more on him as an offensive production target. Now listen, I'm talking about Brian Thomas. I'm talking about Travis Hunter. I'm talking about De'Ami Brown. Are you kidding me? Throwing Brenton Strange into that mix, throwing whoever's the back. Those are some weapons, man. They're great. They're going to be tough to stop. Speed kills. There's no doubt about it. I want touchdowns. I want points. I want our QB in this offense to outscore people. And then I think we got enough on defense. We're going to talk about the front four. I'm telling you, this front four can be special. I really believe that. I think they could be absolutely one of the top front fours in the game. Obviously, they got to stay in the game. Not like last year's. They got rotated in and out all over the place. It was so annoying. On third down, on really important downs, you don't have your best players in there. I don't know what Ryan Nielsen was thinking. No idea there, but I got to think that Anthony Campanile is a different mind thinker in terms of lessons. We got to attack. We got to get after it. If I can't get there with 4, I got to bring extra. I'll play zone. It's fine. It's fine. I just still, from a X's and O's standpoint, like, how are you going to do this? This is what I'm really excited to see about how Anthony Campanile is going to do this. Right? There we go. Get a little For the People for you, all right? ForThePeople.com. Boom. Yeah, I don't like the way that looks. That looks pretty ridiculous. But nonetheless, ForThePeople.com. And we'll go there. But he's going to, have to bring that because, or from an X's and O's standpoint, like, how are you going to differentiate? Right? So if Travis Hunter is my corner, let's just say he's in a corner, are you running the same stuff that you run all the other times? I'm sure you will, or you won't do it. You're not going to put him in a bad position. Now, if he could play shutdown, let's just say he could, which I'm told from everything I've seen online and everything else I've talked to, people I've talked to, that he's better off the ball as a corner. He's better. So maybe he's not strong enough to be a press corner, to really dictate that route, get that route off the plane, so to speak, with a little knock. He's better at reading and reacting. Listen, the kid's a tremendous athlete. And the first time he takes one back to the house, I'll say, play him a corner. No, I'm kidding. I really think on offense, he's going to be tremendous. I really do. And Travis Kelce's got a good point. You can bag on him all you want, but you want to wear that kid out. If he's that much of a game changer, right, by playing both ways, well, then you got to wear his ass out. You got to try to. I think he could run for days. But what's going to be different is the competition. I mean, what are they, Pac-12 out there in Colorado? Those guys... 95% of those guys, if not more, don't even play in the NFL. So who cares what he did there? I don't get carried away with that kind of stuff. I think it's great. I do. But college is college, and the NFL is the elite, and it's a lot different. So can he keep up on both sides of the ball? That'll be the question. But I know, listen, Liam Cohen's an offensive-minded coach. Where do you want to play him? I want him on offense. He's going to be more explosive on offense. He's going to score more points on offense. Doesn't mean I'm not going to use him on defense. But then again, I go back to, well, how am I going to use him? You know what I mean? How am I going to use this young man in my defense without giving away what I'm playing, right? Because you can't do that. You can't do that. No defense is that good. You got to keep the other side guessing and on their heels with your play calling. So that'll be interesting. And again, look, I've watched this young man already. He's fast. He's quick. He can run for days. He can catch. He's not faster than everybody out there. He's not quicker than everybody out there. He doesn't catch better than everybody out there, but he does those things. So I got an open mind. I hope he's fantastic. I hope he's like Randy Moss on offense, right? But we have a Randy Moss and Brian Thomas, in my opinion. I think he can be tremendous. But it's going to be fun to watch this young man. And look, again, you go wide receiver DB or DB wide receiver. I'm going the former. Wide receiver the majority of the time, right? And then the rest of the time I'm putting him on defense. But again, you better figure that out and make sure that other offense, that other side doesn't know what the heck you're doing, because that'll be a big problem. I think what's going to be a big problem is those three receivers. Brian Thomas Jr. is an absolute alpha dog. He's an absolute number one. He's one of the top young receivers in the game. I know all this talk about Travis. I'm excited too. Best player in the draft, there's no question there. Best player maybe in college football-ish. But he's good. We're looking forward to it, right? But you got Brian Thomas Jr. You know what he can do. He's unbelievable. 80-plus catches, right? 1,300 yards, 1,200 yards. I mean, the guy's dynamite. Absolutely dynamite. So I think those three together, throwing Brenton Strange, throwing a running game, throwing an offensive line that can block. Hopefully that could be the case. You know, it's funny being up in Chicago. A lot of similarities to where the Bears are at and where the Jags are at. The only difference really is the Bears invested in their O-line pretty heavy. Joe Tooney, one of the top linemen in the game, at least inside, and he played everywhere, but he's not a tackle. But he can, but he's good at guard, so that's going to be an upgrade. And then Caleb Williams is, 3 years younger than Trevor, right? So, another one of those, what do they call him? He's generational, yeah, yep. They're all generational. LT was generational. He still is, I think. No question about that. Okay. I had my notes down here. Cubs game. Absolutely phenomenal. You saw the flyover, I hope, on Facebook. It was absolutely incredible. Totally packed out. Now, it's July 4th, so it's different. But look, Wrigley, a lot is packed like that. Which gets me to thinking back to Jacksonville. I think we'd support a Major League Baseball team. They'd have to win. It's like anywhere in Florida. You got to win. You're not sitting out there in the damn heat if your team sucks. I'm sorry, you're just not. Now, the diehards will. They will. And God bless them for doing it. As a player, we always appreciated that. But, as now, no, even with the Jags, when the Jags are stinking it up, I don't go down there. I don't. I watch it on TV. I'll tape it and I'll watch the film the next day and give my critiques. But I don't go down to that stadium if they're stinking it up. I just don't. And I get to go for nothing, as an alumnus. But I'd rather watch at home. It's, what support. So baseball, I think, is even more like that. So would Jacksonville be a baseball town too? I'd love to see baseball and football. I mean, come on. That'd be absolutely incredible. Look, the Jumbo Shrimp, our minor league team, is kicking ass. I mean, they're rocking. I actually was talking to Ken Babby, trying to think about bringing a Major League Baseball team to Jacksonville. Obviously, Tampa Bay getting bought. Looks like. I don't think that's finalized. Maybe it is. It might have happened while I was away. I don't think they're moving it yet. You got to take care of the Jags Stadium before you think about asking the city for any more money. I'll tell you that. And I've been told they're going to figure it out, but they're not flush with cash. The city of Jacksonville, they can just be like, all right, here's $750 million. Go get them. Not at all. So that'll be interesting how that works out. But I did think about that. How Jacksonville. So two things from Chicago, right? Riverwalk, lake, all that energy. Bring it to downtown Jacksonville. We got the damn river running right through it. It's going to be incredible. They're starting to. I know we are. I know we got developers, the city putting in money. It's great. It's absolutely fantastic, and it's going to continue to grow. But from where the old landing is, all the way down Bay Street, all wrapping around into the new Four Seasons that's going to be all, into Intuition Ale, all that, all wrapped around the new stuff. It's going to be absolutely dynamite in Jacksonville, at least downtown. And look, I wouldn't change anywhere else, and I wouldn't change where I live. I love the beach. You kidding me? I'm going to go out there today and do some backwards skipping and say hello to God and have a good time a little bit later. But I'm going to hit the gym too. I just feel soft after, we lifted a little bit. The hotel gym wasn't very good, so you had to get really creative, but push-ups and stuff, they're fine. But now I got to get back in. I feel like a wet noodle, if you will. But I tell you what, going to Chicago reminds me of Jacksonville, just in a small, we're driving over the Deans Point Bridge, right? And I look at my wife, I'm like, look at Jacksonville's skyline and then think about Chicago's. I mean, it's like Chicago's is this wide, Jacksonville's like that. It's just totally different. But listen, I wouldn't change it for a world where I live, man. I love it. Absolutely here. All right, so ESPN puts out a list, top 10 defensive tackles in the league. They did top 10, honorable mention, and then they had other players receiving votes. No Jags, and not a surprise. Not a surprise at all. But no Jags on this list going into 2025. We know that can change, and I think it will. We'll get to that in just a minute. The top 3, Dexter Lawrence, come on, beast, absolutely beast. Chris Jones, total beast. Jalen Carter, I mean, seriously, gosh, wouldn't you love to have any one of those 3 on this team? We may have something there. We'll get there in just a second, but those 3 guys, man, unbelievable. You got Jeffrey Simmons at number 4 from Tennessee. When healthy, that guy is insanely good. I'm telling you, man, go back to Stroud and Henderson. Are you kidding me? Those guys were incredible. Play linebacker behind those dudes. They're at the top of the food chain. All you got to do is go hit the running back. Ray Lewis, that's how he became a Hall of Famer. He had 2 big, fat, space-eating guys. God bless you, Tony. And Sam Adams, who was incredible. All he had to do was go to the back. Really challenging, let me tell you. I'll tell you what, every linebacker in the world would love to play the game without having to take on blocks. Wouldn't that be fun? Quinnen Williams at number 5, with the Giants. Leonard Williams at number 6, with Seattle. It's amazing the Jets let him go. Namande Matabuke from Baltimore had a massive year last year, got a big contract, or a year before. I don't know how he did last year. I'm going to have to look into that, but he comes in at number 7. DeForest Buckner, number 8 for Indy. Vita Vea for Tampa Bay at number 9. And Cameron Hayward from Pittsburgh. He's more of a 3-4 DN, but they included him in this. And then Christian Wilkins was the one of 5 or 6. Zach Allen was in there for Denver, a few other guys, but 5 or 6 honorable mention. I think Christian Wilkins is an absolute beast. Too bad he got hurt last year. That definitely hurt the Raiders, without a doubt. That guy's insane. I know he's a little goofy out there. I think he likes to do the little Bojangles squeeze, if you will, when you're in a pile. But nonetheless, that guy can play the game and is a total beast. So no Jags in any of those. However, Armstead moves inside. He'll make the top 10. I'll put that down right now. Eric Armstead will play the majority of his snaps, if not all his snaps, as a defensive tackle, and he will get back to that really top-tier play. He's got a lot in his tank. He's a massive human being. He's still athletic. He's really good against the run, and when he rushes a passer from inside, he's very, very effective. I think he's going to be an absolute beast. And then, the young buck coming up, it's Mason Smith. I'm telling you, if they get this kid in good condition and playing at a very high level consistently, he could be a star. He's got a chance to be a star in the National Football League. But you got to do it. I mean, look, when Devon Hamilton was drafted, I remember watching him with Ohio State because I'd watch Bosa, because the Bosa's father, John, is a friend of mine, and he went to Boston College. He actually helped me with my ACL decision back in 1997. He had both done, one with his own tissue and one with the cadaver. He's like, Tommy, cadaver's never given me a problem. I was like, I'm going cadaver. And I did. And thanks to Dr. Peter Delicato down in Gainesville for putting that in and getting that done. But I would watch Ohio State And I was like, this Hamilton kid is really good. And he had 6 sacks from the inside. And granted, he got Bose on the outside. That helps. But 6 sacks from interior defensive tackle. 6'3", 325, something like that. Could move. I liked him. I liked him a lot. But I know he got injured. And I know he got sick. He had some kind of virus or something like that in his back. And I know that definitely affected his play. But last year, he was fully healthy. And if you're being honest with his performance, it was average. Average. He'd make plays. He would. On occasion, he'd make some good plays. But I don't know, watching that tape, man, he got driven off the ball way too much. Way too much. You get hot, listen, when you're tired, you stand up. And they move your ass. It's that simple. And he's got to, do a better job at that. He's still on the team. He's still got a shot. At being that starter, although I think Mason takes over. I want to see Jordan Jefferson, too. He's another LSU stud, but he's not a 1. He's a 3, so it's going to be tough to get him out there. But nonetheless, I think our front 4 is going to be special. I really do. I think Josh Hines Allen, Trayvon Walker, they're going to have monster years. They'll both have double-digit sacks. They'll both be very good in the run. And I think Eric Armstead, Mason Smith, Jordan Jefferson will put Hamilton behind them, in my opinion. And I think we got a formidable front 4. And we know what that means. We know what that means. We looked at our own line, what was it, 2 weeks ago? We don't know if they're formidable. We don't know yet. Hopefully they are. We know what it means to have a phenomenal offensive line. Just a rugged, tough, pushing people around, burying them into the ground, laughing in their face, protecting the QB, going after somebody that does something wrong to your team, that kind of stuff. And then the D-line, they need that as well. You'd love to have both. If you had to pick one, which one would you want? Dominant O-line or dominant D-line? Affect the quarterback or protect the quarterback? What would you pick? You know what I mean? That's a good, Tommy, that's a pretty good question coming out of nowhere. But what would you, if you could only pick one, what would you prefer? Or what would you choose? Not even prefer. What would you choose to have more of a dominant defensive line that harasses QBs, or just a badass dominant offensive line that opens major holes and keeps your quarterback clean all season long? It's an offensive league. But what if you can stop most offenses? And your offense was just okay, right? Like our weapons on paper, other than Brian Thomas Jr., and maybe Diami because he had a good playoff run last year, but really Brian Thomas Jr., we don't know what kind of production we're going to get, but they look great on paper. So we're going to score, you would think, but not if our O-line doesn't hold up. And I'm not judging the O-line yet because we haven't seen them in pads, like I said. But we'll see. I know our D-line, what they look like. I see that. Now, pads will be an equalizer, but I expect our D-line to really do some damage this year. And I think they're gonna make the O-line better. They will. Depending on how hard they go at each other in practice. That'll be the key. You know what I mean? We'll see if they can get that done. But I think our defensive tackles and our D-line as a whole are going to be very good. And I can't wait. I can't wait. There's nothing like, for me, there's nothing like a badass O-line and just a swagger-filled, shit-talking, backing it all up defense. It's a hard-hitting, play it to the whistle, nothing illegal-ish, but just nasty. Just nasty. I know today's rules, you can't take people's heads off like we used to be able to do. It's a shame, but it is what it is. But you can still do plenty of damage, plenty of physicality. Just look at Philadelphia, what they did, what they've done. You look at all the great teams. Their defensive line's typically good. They can change the course of a game just based on the way they play. But again, I think our defensive tackles and our D-line overall is going to be good. My boys, my Shepherds are up. You can hear them barking. Of course they're up. They're up with me early. And somebody must be walking by because they like to bark at people. You know what I mean? I try to tell them to be quiet. And normally I yell, quiet, in a little deeper voice, but we'll let them roll on. But I'm looking at this linebacker room for our Jaguars. And, hey, boys, be quiet! Sorry, I had to do it. I had to do it. They're being what they're. Listen, here's the thing about shepherds. They're gonna protect you whether you ask them to or not. They think everybody's a threat. They do, and I tell them. Now, granted, they're dogs, so they can't totally understand me. But I always tell my dogs, I'm like, look, I'll let you know when it's a threat. I'll come calling for you if I need help. You know what I mean? Like, so just simmer down. People walking on the street, it don't matter. But nonetheless, they're dogs, and they're going to do what they're going to do. All right, Jaguars linebacker room. Very interesting linebacker room, in my opinion. You got the guys coming back. You got the new guys. Will any of the new guys unseat the guys that are veterans that have been on this team? It's going to be interesting. I don't know yet. Because, again, I got to see them in pads, right? And I know, look, I was thinking today how I would line them up. Sam, Mike, Will. They play a 4-3, right? I'm putting a Lewican in the middle. And I know he's listed as a Will. And I know he can play both. And he might not want the wear and tear as a middle backer. But I think he's really smart as a middle backer. Now, I like Devin Lloyd at middle to play against the run. However, again, like I said with Travis Hunter, you can't do that either. You got to really disguise that, right? So if you're really worried about Devin in coverage, you might not play him at Mike. But I got him at Sam, which he's going to have to cover the tight end. I think he can cover, right? And I think from Sam, it'll be a little bit easier for me. You're either going to take the tight end, maybe the back that comes out. You're hardly ever going to take a slot receiver. And you're going to have the opportunity to rush the passer. Kevin Hardy was a great Sam linebacker for us back in the day. He was really good against the run, and he could rush the passer. I mean, really good. Now, Kevin played Will, too. It's amazing that guy that big could play Will, but he could because he could cover. Kevin could cover number 2. Kevin could run with a back out of the backfield. Even at his size, he had that kind of ability. And then I got Ventrell Miller at Will. His speed is what makes me want him makes him a Will backer for me. Now, here's a real deal on Ventrell Miller. Came out of the gates last year just booming. I mean, he was banging. He was making a lot of plays. He faded towards the end. He faded a little bit. Now, that could just be culture, right? The culture sucked. Nobody gave a crap. Didn't seem like they did. I know, I give a crap. No, you didn't. Not when you win 4 games and make mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake. Same mistakes. Quarterback included, right? So don't give me that crap. You're 4-13 for a reason. But he did. He faded. Now, Grant, you got to have the D-line. So I think they'll play better with a better D-line. And I think our D-line will be better. And I think Eric Armstead moving inside is the key. It really is the key, in my opinion. But then you got Jack Kaiser. You got Dennis Gardeck, which he didn't really participate in the offseason. It was a late trade from Arizona. He's shown he can rush the pass. He's a good special team. And look, these backups and even the guys that I named as potential starters, I think Lewican's locked. Wherever he plays, but I think he's a lock. I think if I'm Lloyd and Miller, I'm on my A game early on. Now, granted, during the offseason, Lloyd went out with the ones every time, so that means something. It does, especially in minicamp. Depth charts mean a little something in training in minicamp. It does. Training camp for sure. How you start. Now, granted, I'll go back to 1995. I was like 7th on the depth chart on special teams and literally 5th middle linebacker. How was I ever going to make it? Well, I figured a way to make it. So you can get there. But those depth charts do mean something. There's no question about it. I like Branson Combs a lot. He's out of Wake. He's a rookie. It looks like he can really run. I'd like to see him on special teams. I want to see him in pads. He's not going to start, I don't think, but I think he can be a good backup. Of course, you've got Chad Muma, who's been around. You've got Jalen McLeod. Who else am I missing? Jack Kaiser. Yep, Kaiser, look, he could make a run for the starting position. I mean, he looks pretty athletic. He's got a good lower body build. I know you think I'm weird when I look at their lower body, but I do. Every athlete I look at, I do check out their lower body, their calves, their thighs, their ass. I want to see they walk on their toes. You know what I mean? Like, you can tell an athlete by just walking them. And when you see some tree trunks, you're like, okay, this guy's strong. And then he can move, so now he can hit, you would think. Now, I didn't watch a lot of Notre Dame football. I don't like Notre Dame. I don't. But whatever. I watch him from time to time. He made plays. I don't think he was some big-time thumper stud, but maybe I'm mistaken, and maybe he can do that at the NFL level. But he's going to have a shot at cracking that starting lineup. I think Muma and Abdullah, like Yasir Abdullah, listen, I don't even know the young man. And I don't want to hurt him, I'm hurting him, but I don't think he's got a spot. He doesn't rush the passer as a defensive end. He's not big enough. He's big. He's a big guy, but not to rush. And he's not quick and fast enough to beat him with speed. So do you play him at Sam? Maybe. He was out there, so I know they like him. But I got to see where he's going to fit. I think Jalen McCloyd, I just don't know what you're going to do with him either. He didn't look that good in space to me. And who am I to say anything? No, he just, I was a thumper, man. I went forward. I like hitting people. But he struggled in a little bit of the dropping into the deep curl route. It just didn't seem fluid when he did it. Yasir Abdullah looked fluid when he did it. They were working on drops, so sometimes that outside back has got to drop, of course. So I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with either one of Abdullah or McCloyd. I think Muma, if he can be a leader on special teams, he's got a shot to make the team. But I think he's got an uphill climb too. I do. Unfortunately. And that's a tough thing, right? When new staff comes in, they want their guys. That's why I always commend Wingard in that regard. He survived 4 head coaches. That doesn't happen. It's like my friend Brant Boyer as a coach, special teams coordinator for the Jets. He survived 3 firings of the head coach. Now he goes to San Fran. Brant Boyer in San Francisco. But that says something about the player, about the person and the player, what they mean to the organization. So a new staff comes in and they see that. They're like, oh, yeah, I gotta have this guy. That's all, And who they've kept is that's what they're thinking. Now, some are going to be like, yeah, we like him, but we want to see our guy. You got to think, man. First-year coach, GM, Tony Vaselli, coordinators. What do you want? You want your guys. You want your guys. And if you convert the old guys into your guys, great. But you want your guys. You want your draft picks. You want your free agents. You want them out there. You want to show that, yeah, I picked the right guys. Right? At the end of the day, all you got to do is win, and then you'll answer that kind of stuff. And granted, like McCloyd was a 6th-round pick. Am I going to be upset if he was on the practice squad? No, I'm not. Kaiser's a 4th-rounder. 4th-rounders should be a part of your team. And then the rest is great. 5th-rounders make it all the time. So do 6th, 7th. I'm not saying that. But, when you're drafted, like those 5th, 6th, 7th, you're hoping that happens. 1 through 4, especially 1 through 3, you got to be right. You got to be right. You can't be wrong. Those are your football players for the most part. The first round, they can play, and they just got all the tremendous athletic stuff that goes along with it. Second round, a little bit less athletic, maybe not by a lot, but a tiny bit or a little bit, but they can play ball. And then third rounders can just play ball. They're just football players. They get drafted high because maybe they ran a 4.7 instead of a 4.5 as a linebacker. Or maybe they're 5'11 and a half and not 6'3 or whatever the case may be. It happens all the time. So that'll be a good room. The linebacker room for the Jags is going to be very, very good to watch this year. And look, other than Lewickin and maybe Lloyd, but I think Lloyd's issue as far as being locked as a starter, I think these other guys that I mentioned, led by Kaiser, Jack Kaiser out of Notre Dame. I'm just kidding. Yeah, Notre Dame. You know what? I always think of those. They're just the pretty boys, the 5 stars, and they're only tough when they're good. You know what I mean? At BC, we were still tough when we were bad, but I don't see it out of Notre Dame. I don't know how much grit they have. It's like the big guy, you grew up with. Nobody challenges him because he's big, and then he gets punched in the face and drops like a sack of potatoes, and you're like, huh? Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel about Notre Dame. But nonetheless, I hope Jack Kaiser can help our Jaguars linebacker room and get it into good shape. All right, I think about covered it on this Tuesday. It's Suck It Up Tuesday. I'm going to work. I'm going to work out in the gym. I got a lunch meeting. I got to cut the grass. I got more business to do. Got a lot going on. An announcement will be made maybe later in the week, but probably early next week. Maybe Friday. Going to be interesting. I hope you enjoy the announcement. What I've learned, not everybody will like it. but that's okay because you just hope you got enough that do, and that's all that matters, right? Hey, Ernie Bono Sr. once told me, he's like, look, half will like it, half won't like it, or a third will like it, a third won't like it, and a third won't give two shits about it. So as long as you got the third that like it being big enough, you're A-okay, and you'll be all right. Team Tommy Mac, check them out at TommyMac.net. You'll see all the logos. You'll see all my content there. My beautiful daughter, Avery McManus, she puts it all together for me, puts it on the site, and she will put this one up there as well. Horse's Mouth is on there as well. We're going to hit the road. Lynch's Irish Pub coming up very soon, maybe this week, maybe next week, Thursdays, 4:30 to 6:30. Put July 20th on your calendar, if you will, 4 to 7 p.m. out on the deck at Pete's Bar, the oldest bar, they say, since Prohibition, right? I think so. They've been around forever. I've been going there for 30 years. This is my first time playing there, so it's going to be awesome. The Dad Bods will take the stage out back on the deck from 4 to 7 p.m. I wish you nothing but a great day, a great week, and man, I hope to see you in the very near future. A big thanks, Carpet Man Flooring, of course, Morgan & Morgan, Chris Lucero's Bail Bonds. You get thrown in jail, make sure you call him. He is the best. He'll get you out of jail quick, man. He does. I've seen it live and in person. J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling. Fantastic. Veteran owned and operated. They're there for you. They'll take your junk, clean it up, fix it up, and give it to veteran families in need. Great for hauling your construction debris as well. Azar sausage, whether in your favorite dish or in a bun. Azar sausage is the one. Absolutely. We have it in our house. It's incredible. The best tasting sausage you'll ever have. Code Ninjas, a great tech school for your kids. And get them into camp, man. I'm telling you, these guys got it going on. 5 locations now in Northeast Florida. They're going to teach your kids all about tech. CodeNinjas.com. Salt Air Inn and Suites just took up a friend of mine. He's going to stay there about 4 days. And it's right there in Atlantic Beach. A little boutique hotel, man. It's absolutely beautiful. A little pool in the middle. Great looking rooms, all redone. And you're 4 blocks from the ocean. 2 blocks from all the action. And that's important. No doubt about that. Family Tradition Specialty Foods, home of Coconut Joe's. What do I got here? I've got the jalapeno garlic. That'll knock your socks off. I got 2 of them, I think, here. No, this is Pineapple Ghost, man. No, it's not. It's Pineapple Garlic. See, that's what I got. Anyway, here you go. Coconut Joe's. I put out a QR code. I'll do it again on Facebook. Make sure you click on that. It'll take you right to the landing page to buy your Coconut Joe's hot sauces. And listen, put in pound Team Tommy Mac and get BOGO free. Yeah, man. Fantastic stuff. Newmark Phoenix Realty Group. My friends have been friends of mine for over 20 years, over decades, maybe even longer than that, 25 years. They are the #1 commercial real estate firm in the land for a reason. Integrity, character, and guess what? They do what they say and they get the job done. Call them at 904-399-5222. Freedom Finance, my man Courtney Myers. He is a fractional CFO. He will come into your business, early stage, startup, you're looking to grow, what have you. He'll come in. He'll help you with the bookkeeping, the forecasting. He'll help you with raising funds. He'll help you with everything financial. Make sure you check him out at freedomfinance.llc. Of course, thanks to 1010XL and their podcast platform. And thanks to all of you for watching, man. We're going to do more from the house. How do you like this lighting, by the way? Is it okay? I'm thinking about getting a light. I don't know. I like the natural light. Maybe if I do it early enough, I could get it in. But nonetheless, we're going to do more from the house right here in Neptune Beach. And I wish you nothing but the best out there. So have a great day. Kick some ass. Stay safe. Be cool, and stay safe, man. And we'll see you right here on Catching Up with Tommy Mac. Peace and love, everybody. Have a great day. Hey, Tom McManus here with the Catching Up with Tommy Mac podcast on the 1010XL podcast platform. Catch it on the 1010XL app. Catch it on 1010XL.com. You can also catch it on the 1010XL Jaguars channel on YouTube. Hey, man, it's always straight from the heart, straight from the gut, all ball, all Jags, all NFL coming your way each and every week, twice a week on Catching Up with Tommy Mac. We'll see you there.